تذكر يوما كنت تعانق دمعة الفكر، تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري، فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحوم كالطير، تحلق في ثقافات وتنهل من ربى الخير، ترى ما زلت تذكرها وتذكر روعة.
يعلمون بما غفرني ربي وجعلني من المكرمين. وما أنزلنا على قومي من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون. يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون. ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون. وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون. وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون. وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملت أيديهم أفلا يشكرون. سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالأرجود القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريته في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا له من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها مؤردين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا نطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا مغضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة يوم في سور فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم سلام قولا من رب رحيم سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا فلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكس في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه سحرا وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا له مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لا مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند مغدرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحيي الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العظيم.
صدق الله مولانا العظيم. Verily Almighty Allah speaks the truth. Jazakallah khair and shukran to Haji Faisal Salih for the rendition of Surah Yasin, the heart of the glorious Quran. May Almighty Allah accept and may Allah bless us all through the barakah of the glorious Quran and through the sacred nature of Surah Yasin in this holy hour of Jummah. We ask Almighty Allah to bless the entire world and to cleanse the world, inshallah, from this dreaded virus of COVID-19. Ameen Ya Rabbil Alameen. To all our wonderful viewers on our various social apps, we greet you with the universal greetings of peace, mercy and love. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As we all know that every single place of worship throughout South Africa is closed at the moment in order to curb the spread of the infection of this COVID-19 virus. And so likewise every masjid is closed, but we also know how dear Jummah is to our hearts, and that Jummah is a very important duty. However, because of the government decree that all places of worship must be closed, we absolutely adhere and we respect and we obey. But today we bring you a special broadcast, an online Jumu'ah, and today I have personally asked our chairperson of the Board of Trust, Haji Sattar Parker, in his eloquent way to deliver for us a powerful educational message today, which I know he will, inshallah, and he will address us on the very, very important topic, which is the psychological, emotional, and legal response during the pandemic. Without further ado, I call upon Hamare Janab Sattar Parker to kindly address us. فليتفضل مشكورا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. Amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the name of Almighty Allah, most merciful, most compassionate. Salutations upon the most honored, the most perfect, and the most favored of Almighty Allah's creation, the Holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his family, his companions and their families, after which I greet you with the greeting of peace and the greeting of blessings. First and foremost, I thank once again our Creator, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for once again giving me this great honor and an absolute privilege to be able to deliver a talk during the sacred waqt of the Jumu'ah, the Friday prayers. And secondly, I'd like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to our Imam, my mentor, Sheikh Abdul Rahman Alexander, first of all for the invitation, secondly for the guidance, and thirdly for guiding me and helping me throughout this talk. When I thought about delivering this talk today, among many thoughts that went through my mind was, I think, the one most operative thought, and that is how the world has changed. Never in my or your wildest dreams did we ever fathom that we would be in a situation that we are today. And just by way of an introductory comment, I'd like to share with you two contrasting views, and both of them refer to the fraternity of science. And we appreciate all the wonderful work that the scientists are doing, particularly in guiding us through this pandemic. The first, on the one extreme, is when last year a very, very important scientific event took place, which probably is one of the greatest scientific achievements in modern times. They sent a spacecraft all the way from Earth, traveling through space for a distance of 365 million kilometers. 365 million kilometers. The journey took 7 months. And these great scientists who had predicted before the spacecraft left here that it would land, and exactly that is what happened. Pinpoint accuracy where it landed on the surface of Mars. That was the great scientific achievement on the one side of the extreme. On the other side of the extreme, scientists today, up till now, this very moment, are still baffling with a small virus. A virus that cannot be seen with the naked eye, and a virus that is so small that even if you want to see a minute component of that virus, you need one of the strongest microscopes in the world. This virus has baffled everybody all over the world. We find ourselves today between two essential battles. The one is the political battle between the major states of the world, America on the one side and China on the other. And then another battle which we are all engulfed in, and that is the battle between the virus and the vaccine. This virus, as minute as it is, has brought the mightiest nations of the world to its knees. Many times we watch on the TV screens cities that used to be known for never ever having slept. New York, London, Mumbai, Delhi, Istanbul, Paris. All these cities today have become ghost towns. The world and our lives have been completely turned upside down. Economies of the world have been shattered. And the buzzword, unfortunately for me, and I would like to believe that you will agree with me, is the new normal. What is the new normal? In this masjid 2 years ago, and similarly many of the other masajids, we would probably have had today more than 3,500 to 4,000 people coming for the Jum'ah, the Friday prayers. Today, very sadly, I'm speaking to an empty mosque. I don't want to today, viewers, speak about the normal protocols, the mask and the sanitizing and the social distancing, which message our dear Sheikh Abdul Rahman Alexandra has repeatedly and brilliantly put across Friday after Friday. And he will continue doing that. I also do not want to speak about the conspiracy theories simply because I'm not qualified to speak on them. Whether it is the man-made virus in the lab in Wuhan in China, or whether they are a group of multi-billionaires somewhere in some of the Western countries who want to reduce the population of the world, I don't know, and I'm being quite open about it. Two things I do know, and I want to share with you that today. The first, people have died. People have died, and unfortunately, people are still going to die of this virus. And in this masjid alone, I want to give an example, a very sad example, of one of our regular musallis. His wife passes away with COVID-19 on a Monday. Immediately from the Qabristan, the husband is taken to hospital. 5 days later, the husband dies. And in the space of 1 week, those children became orphans. This is the reality. The second fact, which I can say without fear of any contradiction whatsoever, is people have lost their livelihood. People have become destitute. Today, more and more people are sleeping on the streets under bus shelters than what we've ever seen before. I go for my walk on a Sunday morning, and last week I was absolutely shocked to see how many people in an affluent suburb like Sea Point are sleeping on the streets. And just as a matter of reference, and I don't say this very kindly, I even saw in the old days what we would call so-called white people sleeping on the streets. Just down the road, our iconic Habibia Masjid, we saw our beloved Maulana Qutbuddin Qaji losing his beloved wife to COVID-19. May Almighty Allah grant her a very high place in the Jannah, inshallah. Our Imam at Habibia, Imam Ghulam, his wife is very ill in hospital. And then we are losing so many of our great scholars. Just very recently, not only one of the greatest scholars of Cape Town and South Africa, but a man who has held a preeminent position as an Islamic scholar all over the world, the late Maulana Taha Karan. May Almighty Allah grant him a very, very high place, inshallah. A few weeks ago at this masjid, many of you would have observed, we virtually handed over the entire Jummah to our young people. And it was one of those Jummahs where we left this masjid on an absolute spiritual high, because the youngsters did an absolutely great job of carrying out that wonderful institution in Jummah. As I was watching these wonderful youngsters with a lot of happiness, there was also a tinge of sadness, and that was, as we hear about these scholars succumbing to COVID-19, are we replacing these great scholars? A very important point that we need to bear in mind. Beloved viewers, how do we, fortunate enough still to be walking on the dunya today, how do we respond? There is no doubt that this is a major calamity which has affected 7.5 billion people all over the world. The first port of call in our response has to be compassion. As Muslims, it's supposed to be a hallmark of ours that we need to be compassionate to everybody, Muslims and those who are not in the house of Islam. Secondly, we need to address these people with a very cool and calm approach. I agree with you that these are the most depressing times that we've ever had in our lives. I, for one, nowadays, I think not twice but 10 times before I open up my cell phone in the mornings, because the news is so depressing, it's so sad. This one has passed away, that one has passed away, this one is ill, this one is in hospital. But the solace for you and me has to be a reference to the Holy Quran and the Kalam of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Almighty Allah reminds us in Surah Al-Imran, the opening lines of verse 185, when He says, every soul shall have a taste of death. That is a reality. That is the reality of life. And the poet in the Urdu language has said so beautifully, Zindagi maut ka ek bahana hai. Life is merely a reason for death. And he says, death, that is what life is all about. Whether you are the mightiest person in the world, the mightiest nation in the world, the most famous person in the world, whether you are the richest person in the world, or whether you are somebody sleeping on the streets, once we accept this fact, then we can move on. And when we move on, the important point to remember, as we show our response towards this unfolding tragedy in the world, do not become paranoid. Very, very important. We must not become paranoid. Dr. Salim Parker, who phoned me this morning, he reminded me to tell you, don't become paranoid. Why? And he gave his reasons. The first reason is when you become paranoid, you start sucking out a lot of the positive energy in your body. You may not realize that, but that's exactly what happens. And when your energy levels drop, your resistance levels drop. And that's when you are prone to become ill quicker than in other cases. Secondly, and again we refer to our beautiful lifestyle as embodied by the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who reminds us in a famous hadith, we hear it from Sheikh Abdul Rahman so often, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, tie your camel and have trust in Almighty Allah, have trust in God. Remember, sometimes this needs to be emphasized. The first part of the hadith is to tie your camel, and thereafter, without any doubt, you must have your trust in the Almighty. Beloved viewers, the first wave came and it took away a lot of people. The second wave came, it took away more people. I hope I'm wrong during the sacred waqt of the Jum'ah, but the third wave, it appears, and I hope I'm wrong, is going to take away more people. Why? Because we have the deadly Delta variant. Dr. Salim Parker, again I refer to him, because when I came here, I felt I'm going to get as much information from the experts as possible. The Delta variant is the most aggressive variant that they've ever uncovered. And it is spread airborne. So we need to be very, very careful. I know all this sometimes gets a bit too much for me, and I know it gets a bit too much for you. But the important message, don't be negative. If you are tested positive, I'm appealing to you, don't hide it away from anyone. If you are positive, don't hide it away from anyone, because you are putting other people's lives in danger. Also remember that if you are positive, there is no stigma to it. And why do I say that? And again, Dr. Salim Parker reminded me today that at the moment, we still have a very high recovery rate. 2 weeks ago, it was almost 95%. It's dropped quite a bit now, it's down to 89%, but our recovery rate is still very high. So if you are positive, inshallah, you will recover. Secondly, we need to be supportive of each and every one. And a very important point, which the medical people keep on telling us about, if your symptoms persist, like in the case of Sheikh Abdul Rahman Alexander, and we cannot thank Almighty Allah enough, and many of our committee members, including Brother Liaquat Sunday, get hospital treatment as soon as you can. The earlier you get your treatment, the better it is. Our brother Haji Faisal Saleh is another very, very good example. Do remember, and this is an important appeal, do remember, when these people are in hospital, they are in the darkest space imaginable. You don't know how dark this space is in hospital. When you make contact with them via video call, be positive and don't be gloomy and doomy. Tell them things will come right. Try to boost their morale so that inshallah they'll be able to fight this deadly deadly virus. What are the lessons of the pandemic? The first and foremost lesson, which sometimes we do not realize, there is no guarantee of life. There is absolutely no guarantee of life. You are here today, tomorrow you have symptoms, the next day you call a doctor, 2 days after that the ambulance comes, after that you're in hospital, and before you know, the announcement of the janazah, and your body is carried to the Qabristan. So, what is the response? Continually be on the alert. And the best philosophy which I can share with you today, and it's a very simple philosophy, always hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And if we can send a very important message from this masjid today, and I'm sure we're having more than 1,500 people viewing both on YouTube and on Facebook. What is the lesson that we can send out today, the message? Set your affairs in order. This is very important. especially your relationship with people who are dear to you, your family members, your friends. If there's any negativity in the relationship, my humble appeal to you today, pick up that phone and rectify that relationship. Don't let it be that when your janazah is leaving, there is the tinge and a blot on the minds of people. Secondly, and very, very importantly, see that you have prepared your will. See that your will is prepared. And there are many experts in our community today who can help you. And remember that famous hadith of your Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is why the Holy Prophet is a practical prophet. He teaches you the things that affect your and my daily life. He has given us possibly the best advice we can when it comes to the preparation of a will. He says, if you have not prepared a will, and the will is not under your pillow when you go to bed at night, words to that effect, Sheikh Abdul Rahman can correct me if I'm wrong, then you have definitely left something important behind in your life. Remember, that will needs to be prepared. Let your family know what your wishes are. Speak openly to them. And very, very importantly, let members of your family know where that simple, small, little book of life is. On the day of the janazah, if you cannot find that book of life, and we had a case here in this masjid a few weeks ago, they are not going to be able to bury you. I just want to, in conclusion, mention about the vaccine. Many people are going for their second jabs, and alhamdulillah, that's a very good thing that you are doing. But do remember, even after you've taken the second jab, the Delta variant is lethal and it's aggressive. Still, you need to be very, very careful. Still, you need to stop gathering as far as possible. In conclusion, my talk today essentially has been your and my journey of life. The journey of life is from the day that you are born till the day that you die. And the only instrument, there is no other instrument but the instrument of time that measures the journey of life from the day that you are born till the day that you die. That is the longest journey of your life. Sometimes we don't think about these things, but that is actually the fact. And Almighty Allah, in His infinite wisdom, chose Surah Al-Asr, which deals with the measurement of time, to be the second shortest surah in the Holy Quran, which measures the longest journey of your life. In conclusion, I want to thank Sheikh Abdul Rahman Alexander for giving me this honor and this privilege to speak today. And I ask you to join me wherever you are on Allah's earth. That Almighty Allah, first of all, must protect each and every one of us. And secondly, and very importantly also, that we must be the protectors of each other. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. Shukran. Jazakallah khair. And baitra makasih to Haji Janab Sattar Parker for that most inspiring, educational and informative message. May Almighty Allah grant us the hidayah to understand and to implement this beautiful nasiha and advice in our lives. And may Almighty Allah bless you and preserve you, Janab, for many, many more good years, that you can do the sterling work that you are doing by leading our Masjid al-Quds Executive Committee and Board of Trust, and always provide us with very eloquent and apt guidance. Ameen. Shukran. Just a few announcements. We have been asked to make dua for Haji Sirajuddin Raud from Dorin Road, as well as Haji Sattar Dalvi from Smuts Avenue. Both are sick in hospital. We also make dua for all our sick people at home and in hospital, that Almighty Allah grant them shifa and kamila. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. And Allah have mercy on our deceased people, wherever they are buried. May Allah make the kuburs from the gardens of Jannah, and may Allah grant them all Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. You have made reference to Maulana Qutbuddin Saab. MashaAllah, I'm very happy to announce that Maulana Qutbuddin, as well as our senior alim, Sheikh Amin Fakir, both have been discharged from hospital. They are both recovering at homes. May Allah grant them full recovery, because they are our senior ulama and we need their guidance for many, many more years. Those of our scholars and ulama who have passed on, like Sheikh Amiruddin Datoit and many others, may Allah Mufti Toha Karan, Ya Allah, what a loss for this community. May Allah grant them all Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen. You have also made a reference to Dr. Salim Parker, who is in the forefront, a medical expert in the forefront in the fight against COVID-19. Dr. Salim Parker himself went through the journey of COVID-19, and Alhamdulillah, he has healed. We ask Allah to grant him full recovery and all the strength to continue the sterling work that he and our entire health professional people and fraternity are doing for the world, inshallah. May Allah bless us all. Jazakallah khair. And I want to assure the viewers that we're bringing you this program live here from Masjid Al-Quds. It is an online Jum'ah, and many people have asked, can they follow us because they missed the Jum'ah? Can they follow us in the Jum'ah? Look, there's two views. The majority of scholars say it is not permissible, but then there are those individual scholars who say that because of the pandemic and the situation we find ourselves in, it is permissible. So if you feel like following us in the salah right till the end, we will also make the kunut in the salah, inshallah. Please feel free, and if you feel you rather want to make dhuhr after listening to the two khutbahs on the mimbar, you are welcome to do that as well. May Allah guide us all. We will now have the first adhan by Haji Rafiq Jaffer, inshallah. Shukran.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة صلوا في بيوتكم صلوا في بيوتكم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين. رب اختم لنا بالخير برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله الذي يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. وقال تعالى: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. بارك الله لنا ولكم بالقرآن العظيم، ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم ولوالدي ولوالديكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات، فتوبوا إلى الله إنه كان غفارا.
اللهم صل وسلم وزد علم وتفضل وبارك بجلالك وكمالك على زين عبادك وأشرف وبارك سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم رضي الله تبارك وتعالى عن كل صحابة أجمعين.
الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا كما أمر، والصلاة والسلام على سيد البشر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. وقال تعالى: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. وارض اللهم عن خلفاء الراشدين أمير المؤمنين سيدنا أبي بكر وسيدنا عمر وسيدنا عثمان وسيدنا علي بن أبي طالب رضي الله تعالى عنهم، وعن بقية الصحابة والقرابة والتابعين وتابع التابعين وتابعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم اجعل هذا البلد آمنا مطمئنا وسائر بلاد المسلمين أجمعين، فاغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا واعف عنا واحفظنا يا الله يا الله من كل بلاء الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من البرص والجنون والجذام ومن سيء الأسقام برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وأدخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. اللهم أعد المسجد الأقصى إلى رحاب المسلمين إلى أخوي المسجد الحرام ومسجد النبوي المدني الشريف، آمين يا رب العالمين. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمركم بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر، ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وأعز وأجل وأتم وأهم وأعظم وأكبر، والله يعلم ما تصنعون. وأقم الصلاة.
ولا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
حقا وصدقا لا إله إلا الله سيدنا محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين، إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. رب المشرقين ورب المغربين، فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان؟ مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان، فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان؟ يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان، فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان؟ وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام، فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان؟ الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك فإنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت فلك الحمد على ما قضيت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك نستغفرك ونتوب إليك نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد نبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أستغفر الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله العظيم والتواب الرحيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم ونتوب إليك ونسألك توبة ومغفرة والهداية لنا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا إلهنا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جمعة مبارك.
تذكر يوما كنت تعانق دمعة الفكر تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحوم كالطير تحلق في ثقافات وتنهل من ربى الخير ترى ما زلت تذكرها